Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Deltran, and you are here in Art in the Zen of Hero Making. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Anna. If you've missed my previous episodes, you can go ahead and find those on my channel. You can also find links to the first episode down in the doobly-doo, as well as links to all the tools that you see me use. So let's get right into it. So we're going to be taking a look at Anna, the commander of the Order of Heroes. Yay! And if we take a look here, we see that right out the gate, she's coming at us with 42, 47, and 28. Not really anything to write home about, really, but she has a lot going for her. The best thing about her is she has a really high speed. Speed of 38 is something that catches my eye. 35 is where I personally draw the line at having what I would call a high speed. Once you get to 38, you have my attention. So Anna definitely deserves my respect in this regard. Her attack is okay, her defense is pretty darn terrible, and her resistance is decent. Once you get a defense or resistance to about 30, that's also something to start to pay attention to, especially resistance. But it looks like for even with her high speed, it's not doing us any great good here, because we still have a loss ratio that's greater than our win ratio. Once again, now these are duels. These are whenever the hero is just fighting back and forth, slugging it out. No, Anna is an island. She'll be with other people. So we're going to try to look at a couple of builds here that give Anna a little more personal killing power and also assist the team. The main reason I find Anna to be interesting is because of her sacred weapon, Noten, if I said that anywhere near right, which has Wings of Mercy 2 built into it. A unit may move adjacent to any ally when... I'm sorry, Escape, not Wings of Mercy. She has Escape route. Unit may move adjacent to any ally when the hit points are below 40%. This is pretty interesting because this lets Anna suddenly appear in other locations in the battlefield to either protect her, or what I like to do with her is to actually just put her into the best position possible, where even though she's lower than 40%, it doesn't matter. She's going to own that situation. And that is what's nice about having her with her best weapon, is because then you don't have to worry about the 47 losses. You are automatically putting her into situations where she's taking care of the 42 wins. Her default kit, looking at the 5-star variant of Anna, has a Noten as the sacred weapon, Astra. Let's just for I always like to do this. I enjoy looking at just how much damage Astra will do. So if we take a look at this, it said that it goes off right away. Yeah, 79 wins, which is funny. Other heroes have a better win ratio. One of the problems here and one of the reasons why this is her attack is 45. 45 is okay for a supporting character, but it's not okay for someone who is using such a big thing. So we're going to take a look at different specials for her. And also, she's really reliant on speed. This basically implies that she has a weaker attack, but wants to double tap people. So we're going to be getting rid of... you know what? Yeah, no, I already hit. Do that. So we're going to be getting rid of Astra for sure. She doesn't have an A passive, so there's a lot of potential there for us to add damage dealing or to change her focus. She comes pre-installed with Vantage, and she has Spur Resistance, which is pretty nice, and you'll find out why in a moment. It's not popular. Everybody loves honed attack. Everybody loves honed speed, and there are good reasons for that. If you have settled on those are fantastic skills. But I think we're going to keep her Spur Resistance, and here's why. With her baked-in escape route ability, she can hop around the battlefield to where she's needed most. And one thing she can do to a small degree is discourage mages from attacking her. She will have a high enough resistance that as long as she's not going up against Sanaki or Tharia or somebody like that, she's going to be able to be a good mage deterrent. Or even just tank at least a hit. She has high enough speed, she's not going to get doubled. So she's going to mitigate the usefulness of Ninu and a high speed Lind and the like of them. So we don't have to worry about her getting doubled. You just have to worry about the ones that drop the big bomb. And you're going to find out that she can actually handle those here in just a moment. So we're going to... What I propose we do... pardon me, is we go ahead and try to make her have a much better win ratio. But we're going to look at her from the... we're going to add some abilities to her, keep some abilities on her that leverage her escape route. And that's something that's hard to actually see numbers for. That's sort of like an uncalculable benefit here. One of the things that we've been sort of ignoring in this series because it's not listed here and it's not as relevant for trying to get the win ratio up is something like the assist skills. So if we take a look at that, if we had that here, it would be a lot easier to take a look at. But when it comes down to it, we're already going to be putting her somewhere on the battlefield. Either A, to get her out of harm's way because we brought her into arena and we don't want to lose our streak, or in order to help defend somebody else to make sure that she is fighting the matchup that she's meant to be fighting. And in that case, we need to get our allies out of the way. So the assist skills that I would look at in this particular case are either swap or reposition. I'm a huge fan of reposition. That's actually the starlet of the day right now. Everybody loves reposition. You will probably like reposition as well, unless you have already used swap and seen it work fantastic for you, and in a place where reposition wouldn't work for you. There are plenty of places reposition won't work for you. Just to be clear on things, swap means that if you have a hero with swap, they can bump into another hero, and they literally just change places. Reposition is the one where if you have a hero with reposition, you have this other hero there, it takes that hero, whoop, and it puts them... I can't cross it more! It repositions that hero over here. Both of these skills are nice because it reorders your heroes. Reposition is good for rapid redeployments of your heroes. And it's nice to be able to use Anna in a case where, if you're in a PvE map, or if you go into an arena fight where there just isn't any blue, it seems to be all red, or all Hectors, or all something like that, you can use Anna in this case to catapult somebody forward. Swap works great in tight spaces because you need to have that extra space with reposition. I'm so sorry. And swap work is the only skill you can rely on to work in tight spaces. So in either case, I would pick one of those two. I'm going to leave that to you, the viewer, as to which one you want. They both have their benefits, they both have their drawbacks, and both are substantial enough that I doubt either one of them is ever going to be the real, winner in that fight. They're always going to be around. So now we're expecting Anna to hop around. Oh, and I'm sorry, and the reason why we're keeping spur resistance on there is because you don't want Anna to necessarily be taking a hit. A melee hit. Here, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to say enemy initiates. So after one hit, when we're at full hit points, which is not going to happen. So let's see here. I am sorry, I'm doing terrible math here. So we need to be at how many? So we need to go the other way. We need to take 35 damage. That'll put us about there. I'm sorry, 35. Jesus. 25. Okay. So here's the deal. I mean, once we're in that territory, we're not not really winning on things. So we got to be careful where we decide to put her. However, like I said, she's going to sort of be a deterrent for mages. And she comes with Vantage. So at this point in time, once we're done building her, she'll be able to look at a mage that's incoming and be able to deliver it back to her. If she is too much of a deterrent and still goes after whoever you teleport her next to, the spur resistance is going to be good there to be able to immediately give that hero the ability to withstand the attack from the mage that's coming in. Remember, Spur gets calculated impromptu in any combat where it's applicable, whereas Hone only gets applied whenever the player phase starts, or the enemy phase if it's on the enemy's turn. But if Anna had Hone resistance, she would be a Fortify resistance. It would only apply whenever she started the round next to somebody. Keeping Spur on there means that she's immediately providing a benefit. And if you're thinking that you'd rather put Spur Attack or something on there, that's up to you. I like the defensive nature of this. It seems to suit her well. If you want to go ahead and put Spur Attack, Spur Speed, both of those are good choices. You could have them, or have her teleport over to somebody who is like this close to being able to do their job and can't. Well, Commander's here to say, shape up. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of our skills. First, I'm going to go ahead and reset the turn order. Dude, Challenger initiates, enemy initiates. We're going to reset her hit points. And so now we're at 42, 47, 28. Once again, let's go ahead and go down the list of all of the important ones. Well, with her high speed, one skill that I automatically think of is Death Blow. It works super great on Brave users, but Death Blow is a good skill for anyone that you want to increase their ability to deal damage, but you don't want to ruin their hit points or their defenses. And this will do that for us. It brings us up to 59 wins, 40 losses. Hey, we're actually killing more people than we lose to. That is nice. Problem with this is that with Death Blow, it just doesn't seem to do enough for us. We still have a lot of losses. We gained a lot of wins. A lot of inconclusive fights are now fully within our realm. But now we're still at 40, and we're doing a lot of good. I mean, let's talk about killing mages. There's Lind right there. There's Lilia, her. Thank you. Right there, we got ourselves an Ursula. We could get rid of a Kajero off the bat, which is nice. Julia, one of the people that we would sort of be afraid of, is right there. Just look at all these tomes that we're seeing. And it's really encouraging to see that we're taking care of this. We're even taking care of a Nobi, which is great. So we finally have some meat on ourselves, and with that high resistance, we have a niche that we're going to be fitting, which is really nice. But I think that we could do a little bit better, and here's where I want to go with it. The other two entries that we have to look at are Life and Death 3 and Fury 3. Now, Life and Death 3 is a huge ask. Right now, it's only available in 5-star units. We're going to do this evaluation with Fury 3 and Life and Death 3 at first here, and then we can proceed from there. Go ahead and just do that one first. So if you do Life and Death 3, 71 wins, 36 losses, 10 inconclusives. That's a lot more respectable. I'd like to have heroes in the 80s, just because that means that they could do their job, plus they could do some niches. Problem is that there's some fights that they're going to come up against that are going to be really tough for them. And I'd imagine that something like this, that maybe we're going to be having some issues. So let's go ahead and take a look at who we're losing against. And look at this. We're losing against a bunch of people that are usually considered scrubs or aren't very popular already. Of course, everybody's favorite Bartra. I mean, everybody runs him at plus 10 because he's the best hero. So, I'm joking. So, we're losing to Sanaki. Now, it takes us 2 rounds. That's very strange. That makes me wonder, is there something we could do to win this fight as a red, with her being red tome and us being green axe? We should be able to do that. You see some other people we're losing against a lot of red. We're losing against Hector, which is terrible. And then pretty much no real heavy hitting red is letting us go by. Let's take a look at what happens with 3-3. And then we will talk about the downs and the pluses and minuses of both of these setups. 60, 40, 17. So you're taking a look at that and you're just like, that's a huge difference. A huge difference. We're still losing to some people here. Now we're losing to Effie, whenever we do that. We used to win in 2 rounds. You could see over here on the right what we used to do. So there are a lot of people that we used to win against, we're now losing against. And that brings over people that we didn't care about matching up initially, like Erica. That does bring in some people that we really did care about. It takes us longer to die to Ryoma, which is great. Let's see here. We're still losing to Sanaki. The and Hector, yeah, that's still not anything great. But doing Fury 3 does a few things for us. One, this does increase our speed. It puts our speed into a really wonderful realm, and it adds that attack bonus too. But most importantly, it's adding to our defense, which was terrible, and our resistance, which was already pretty good. Now it's getting really great. It's in the realm where we should be able to feel a lot more comfortable, actually, taking on some fights. And because we are above 30... a couple options that we have available to us now are in the form of Glacies and Iceberg. Glacies and Iceberg are some wonderful specials. I'm going to grab Iceberg here because that's the 3 charge. It adds extra damage in a fight based off of your resistance, and you want to have a nice high resistance once you do that. So now with Fury 3 and with our resistance of 31, Iceberg, the 3 charge one, that gives us 73 wins, 27 losses, and 17 inconclusives. Let's go ahead and flip back to Life and Death 3 real quick. That margin's a lot closer. So there's 5 there. Our losses go up as well with Life and Death because that tanks your defenses. That tanks, like both of your defenses, defense and resistance. And now they're not so impressive. As a matter of fact, I don't think... Yeah, she still performs a lot better with Iceberg underneath this particular build. But it's not going to be giving you the big oomph that it feels like it should. So I'm going to put her back to Fury... Wait, yeah, I'm going to put her back to Fury 3 here. So that we can have this... You change sides between the two. We're set to Fury 3 now, so all the people that we're showing here are the ones that, you know, are what they are with Fury 3. What they used to be is with Life and Death 2. And you can see that, you know, we're winning against some good stuff. We can defeat Lucina. We're not in great shape afterwards. I'm not saying this is a Lucina killer. And as soon as you put some skills on her, it's not going to go well. You can see that. But you can see that it takes 2 rounds. If you need her to just suck it up and take a hit, you probably can under certain cases. Even against Hannah. Hannah is an underrated character in the fights so far. She does great, and if you're having a hard time with Hector, you probably have a Hannah laying around. You should train her. We'll talk about her way later. We're not talking about Hannah, we're talking about Anna. So, tomes and bows and all this other stuff, that's great. We have Effie here that we're taking care of Effie is being lost to us right now, but we would win in 2 rounds with Life and Death. Taking a look at everybody that we're now losing to. Not many people run Lynn, almost no one runs the Ver and Kada. These are people that you would probably once in a while find in random PvE encounters, but as you can see, everybody we're losing to, it takes us 2 rounds to lose to them. Since now Anna is an island, you could sit there, you could have her soften up somebody here, and then have someone else come and follow up. As you see, basically it halves everybody's stuff, just doing this. Then, of course, you take the 6 damage from Fury at the end. Let's see. Inconclusives. We used to win against a bunch of different dagger users, which may be a problem for you. These are not the ones that you see in Arena too much. You'll see some Felicias. You'll see Jafar every once in a while. Unfortunately, it's just... He's so... We'll talk about him later too. So there's nothing here that we're looking at that we're like kicking ourselves about. But this is honestly impressive to me that we could stand up against vanilla sword lords with a green axe. It's nice, and the fact that we have a high speed is really what's doing it, because the sword lords we're losing to, that we're winning against, they have high speed. If you see this here, Ryoma has his 35, Senna has her 36. These are always meant to be high speed builds, and even if they do something to buff their speed, it's not going to catch Anna. Let's see here. So this is basically the build that I'm sort of showing to you right now. That has two different purposes. You could go Life and Death if you want to. Let's go ahead and take a look at what Life and Death 2 will be, because that's what, in all likelihood, we were going to put on her if you decide to go this way. A couple of problems with this. One, it's not going to get you as hard, as strong, as high of a reward of a fight in Arena if you use her there. And it also reduces her resistance and her defense. And I'm not a fan of that at all. So if we take a look here just at who changes over from Fury back and back, we're winning a lot of the fights that were inconclusive with us before, and some of the fights that we were losing. We can now defeat Effie. So if you have a problem with Effie, this is a good build for you to have, because this takes care of that blue spear. And when it comes down to it, usually you want to have the off type, the type that you do the extra damage to. You want to be able to take care of all those threats, so that generically you could say, I might have somebody better suited for this or that, but I always know that if this guy's green, they could go after blue. And having a general blanketed heuristic in your team like that is fantastic. So once again, we have Life and Death 2 or 3 that let you take care of all the blues, and we also have Fury 3, which helps us get an advantage a little bit quicker. We don't necessarily need it, but then it lets us continue to stand and deliver, handle a few more people, and take care of ourselves as well. Always go with Iceberg. Usually I say stay away from Iceberg, but that only applies to Lettuce. In this case, this isn't Lettuce. This is Death, Death, Kill, Kill. Iceberg is fantastic on her. The only thing last thing I want to take a look at here. Now we'll leave in the melee. Let's get rid of all of our physical. Let's go to all battles. So if we look at all the magic users, you can see on the right-hand side here too, so I'm leaving this view zoomed out, but you can see that, I mean, we're talking all magic users. We're winning in one round with all of this stuff all the time against all of these people. Now we're getting into some inconclusives, and it started all at the same time. These mages are all inconclusive. We lose to Sanaki still. We lose to Young Tiki and Adult Tiki. We're inconclusive with Celica, which is amazing. And we're inconclusive with Tharia, which is no surprise, because she depends on two things. She depends on buffs, and she depends on speed in order to double people. And we're denying her the ability to double us. We take care of a lot of other threats, though. We take care, well, we don't die to Spring Camilla, which is nice. But we're taking care of Anoe. We're taking care of Ninian. We're taking care of Corrin F. And if you think that she's not a threat, you haven't faced one right. You're taking care of Lind, Reinhardt. We're taking care of Celica, Ninu, and Robin. So we were definitely taking care of a lot of mages. And here's the funny thing is, once our advantage kicks in, we're still going to be taking care of all these people. Right now our thing is set to Challenger initiates and the enemy follows up. Well, guess what? Whenever our advantage kicks in, we're still taking care of all of these mages. We are a wonderful mage tank. And in both cases, we're still a wonderful mage tank. So this is what I usually like to use a Nana for. I like to be able to put her right where she needs to be because of escape route, and be able to tank mages, kill mages, get rid of everything. One other build that we could talk about here that we've been toggling the A skill between Life and Death and Fury 3. And the difference there is that Life and Death 2 is statistically better, lets you also take care of Effie. So if you don't have an answer to Effie, this is your build. But with Fury, it helps you get into to Vantage, and it will round out your defenses so that you could still take a hit a little bit and not be as frail. The other thing, though, that we could look at is Desperation. And Desperation is a skill that's often paired with Fury. If we just put on Fury here, Desperation with Life and Death 2, which is likely, our win ratio drops. And if I switch over to Fury, our win ratio is still going to be good. Yeah, it loses the couple points you would sort of expect it to. But Fury is a vengeance best served warm. And so if you let the enemy initiate against you with these, you're gonna, like if you switch these around, you're gonna get a much better view of what's going on here. All these 1 rounds, we don't care. Okay, here we go. Here's a good one. So that first round, Robin hits us and we can't do anything about it. Second round, Anna initiates, and because of the no, that's a bad one. Let me find a melee. Gwen. Oh, and then Iceberg kills us here. Or kills him there. But Lucas? No, Iceberg does its job again. It's foiled. Not seeing anybody take real advantage of it. Okay, we'll do it this way. Just show you a little bit of what's going on. We're going to go ahead and reduce her hit points by roughly 25%. So, well, you know what? Let's put her at 30. No, that's damage taken, Patrick. Let's take 11 damage. So, in 1 round, we're killing 47 people, which is better than what we were doing before. What's happening here is that Anna is getting both of her hits in because of Desperation. So this is another skill you could go with if you were looking at Anna dropping her hit points a lot, and you don't mind honing in on who you're going to fight. Let's go ahead and switch this from Desperation. Well, it's hard to compare this using this tool. We usually have to use pen and paper, or look at both of these side by side. Like on 2 different screens or via the export. I'll talk about that in a moment. It's hard to compare them that way, but when it comes down to it, Desperation lets you focus on just the matchups you're really good at, and instead of being like, oh, well, I can handle all these good situations, this lets you teleport Anna around, and in places where somebody already got pegged by Takumi or one of the other mages, you just plop Anna right in between and take care of who you need to take care of. So this is the second build that I would like to present to you. Officially, it's Life and Death 2 and Vantage is the 2 big skills for the first build. Second build is Fury 3 and Desperation 3. The differences here is that Anna is slightly more specialized. She could still take care of a lot with this. I mean, like I have Challenger initiates at half there. I mean, if I do the enemy initiates now, she's going to get slaughtered. If we come back up here and say that she's at full strength, this number, once this bar goes away, is not exactly super impressive. But once again, 47 of those fights, she wins. Because she's going to be 1-rounding them. Because she'll get both of her strikes in. And so with Fury and Desperation, she focuses on a lot more. Or she hones in on the people she wants to hurt a lot more. Otherwise, put a spur skill on her so that she's automatically assisting her buddies whenever she magically teleports in from wherever she was. Iceberg is the skill of the day. She has such a nice resistance, especially with Fury, that it will serve you better than most other skills that are out there. And that is about it. As I mentioned before, you can actually export the lists of who does what? So if you tap on export results, it'll download a CSV file that is time-stamped and has the name of the hero that you are just working with, so that you can go ahead and take care of it. So in this case, I'm not going to do this on the video. CSV files are easily read by Excel, Google Docs, LibreOffice, the whole thing. And then you could also then download the other one. They're very dense. They're very, very thick. They have there's going to be multiple lines. In this case, there's going to be 117 lines because of how many people we have here. And it's going to say, oh, you have an Anna that has, here's all your stats, here's all your buffs, here's all your... It's going to have a field for each of these. What you could do is you could just strip away most of that information until it gets to the point where it's like, oh, and here you're fighting this person. Strip away all of the extra stuff there until it gets to the point where it says, oh, they win. And they win in one round with 24 hit points left over, and here's how it goes. And then it gives you, the last column gives you basically that whole description right there. You could export these, and then you could actually compare them side by side to figure out what you're doing. And sometimes whenever you have to deal with turn order, that's the only way that you can definitively decide which one you need in your team. And when it comes down to it, this really is a need for your team. It's not which Anna is best. One of these Annas is going to perform better for you than the other, and that completely depends upon who you have. If you don't have a big, strong green monster in your team, I would probably go with the Vantage version. And not to mention, it's a little cheaper to get into, except for Life and Death 3 is just never going to happen, unfortunately. So go with Life and Death 2. If, however, you already have a big tank, either literally in Hector or figuratively in Spring Crom or someone like that, then I would go with the second Anna build, which is Fury, Desperation, and like I said, Iceberg all around. So thank you very much. I hope you got some information. I hope it was informative, and I hope it was a little entertaining. I will talk with you guys later. Take care.